Hi, I'm just going to talk a bit about the registration procedure for Let's Barter NL. Um, and I'll share some documents with you. First of all, I have here, can you see the registration script and procedure?
Mhm.
You can see it, Miranda?
Yes.
And so here I have outlined the steps, including a bit of an orientation that might take place at the kitchen table when you're talking to someone and signing them up, or it may take place at a separate meeting. We might even have a group meeting where we give an orientation to a number of people and then have them fill out the forms. But this script and procedure outlines some of the important things that they would need to know when they're signing up. It outlines the basics of how the organization works, how we exchange goods and services, and what their obligations are. It's a bit of a summary of the terms and conditions, which is quite long, but this kind of summarizes a bit. And we've kind of gone through this last week, so I won't go through it in detail. But essentially, we want to start off just by ensuring that they've read the terms and conditions, that they've read the privacy policy, and that they've read the form, What About Taxes, um, to make sure that they know all the details of how things work. And then you can just ask them if they have any questions. And then we go over, as I say, with them individually or as a group, the basics of how it works. And I have those written out here in detail, going over the basics, how we allocate credit limits, giving a simple example of how those credit limits work and how a trade would work, how we list our goods and services and our profile in a directory, how we conduct transactions, and making sure again that they understand how taxes work. This is not a tax evasion scheme in any way. The fact that there's no interest earned or charged. Um, how that the fact that we may implement fees or we may change our fee schedule at a later time. Um, and very important is about their obligations with closing an account if they ever decide to leave and how that can take place. Uh, the forms that we use, the terms and conditions, we need to make sure that we're referring them to the most recent terms and conditions because sometimes we may update those. And there were some suggestions at our last meeting for updating them again, so we should do that. Um, the privacy policy, which I mentioned, and these are requirements now by law for any organization that collects personal data from other people. So the membership should be familiar with this, but the people who are uh, organizing the network as well, should be really familiar with that. Um, the registration form we'll go through now, and we can talk about whether we want to have that as a physical form or do it online. Either way, we need to make sure that someone is responsible for keeping all of those, like serves the role essentially of a secretary, who will ensure that all of those are kept in one place and maybe, on a drive online where the board has access or the committee has access or whatever. So that'll be something that will need to be decided by the people who are organizing things. Um, so then another form that we have that's useful, and we'll go over this at a later time, but it's a credit limit worksheet. Right now, what we've decided to do is just to give all members an initial credit limit of 250 COD, meaning that you can go into the negative up to 250 COD. Um, uh, uh, but if we decide to extend those credit limits, I have a little worksheet that you can go through to determine what that credit limit should be based on the goods and services that they offer, the level of their activity and trading, um, the percentage of cash and card that they offer their goods and services for, and things like that. Um, so I think now we can just take a look at the membership form. And I have some notes written out here in detail about some of the things on the form, but we can just look at it directly. Let me just bring that up. Can you see that? Great. So, we'll need to, I guess I have this highlighted because we can change the contact information for the organization. Um, so up here at the top on the right, I have some little boxes throughout this that are called, office use only, and it's a way for us just to ensure, and here are some more on the next page, just to make sure that that we can keep track of all this. It can get confusing when you're dealing with a lot of people, you're accepting money from people. You want to make sure that they filled out the forms, that they're set up online and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a way to make sure that you can tick off the boxes to make sure that you've done all the things that need to be done. So starting off on the upper right-hand corner, I've got just a little box there that says member number. Um, um, so that when you're sorting through the forms later, you can find them easily that way. You might want to organize your forms numerically, just makes it easier to find people. So you can put their member number once they're registered. Um, if they were a previous member, I've got a little thing there so that if they were a previous member, either registered by me in the days of old or by Miranda in one of the more recent iterations of signing people up, that you can refer those members directly to either me or to Miranda, um, to sign them up. To re-register them to check to see that they still want to be a member, and to talk with them about clearing their accounts if there's either a negative or a positive balance there. Um, So here, a lot of it is pretty self-explanatory. We just have the contact information, um, whether it's for an individual, a business, or a nonprofit organization. And then, of course, put the name there if that's relevant. Just your contact information, your name, your phone number, your email address, um, and your preferred method of being contacted. Then your street address. And then if applicable, if you have a co-applicant, if it's a couple, for example, maybe who share an account or something like that, you can put their name and address in there and contact information. Down at the bottom here, I put a date on when the form was updated so that we always know that we are using the most recent form. And this is the most recent time that this was edited. On the next page, I just have a couple of columns there for goods and services offered, and on the top, and goods and services needed on the bottom. And I put frequency in there as well. And um, when they're filling out this form, it's like this isn't written in stone. They can always, once they're a member, they can always change the goods and services that they offer or need. They can change them online. But it's to make sure that at the very beginning, they at least have something to offer. If they don't need anything, that's fine. But we just want to make sure that they have something to offer when they're registered. And it gets them thinking about it, and we also, of course, want to make sure that once they're registered, that they list those goods and services in the directory online, and we need to follow up with them to make sure that it is in there online. We may do that with them if we want. Um, and I put frequency in there as well, just because just to get them thinking about it, and I think even online it's important to give an idea of the frequency of when your goods and services might be offered. And the reason being, sometimes people might offer things that maybe you're a farmer, for example, who sells fruits and vegetables, but they're only available during certain times of the year. Or maybe you're a consultant who offers goods and services, but it's pending availability. Or maybe you have a day job and you have a hobby on the side, and again, it's pending availability. And that's just so that when people are contacting you, they wouldn't be disappointed if it wasn't available at that time. That was something that, could happen in the past, oh, I called someone and they weren't available, and then I called another person and they weren't available. So it helps to mitigate that. Um, but also online, there is a feature where you can list an ad for a period of time so that um, you could say that this ad will appear from, say, May to October of this year, and then it will disappear when your things are not available. So that would help with that as well. And plus, we just want to be clear with people that we ask the members to keep their listings updated to avoid that kind of a disappointment as well. Um, Now, this is something that hasn't been updated since we talked about our fees, because right now, I think we're just signing people up for a $25 um uh fee, right? Miranda, is that was what you had decided? Oh, I can't hear you.
Can't remember if it's 25 or 35.
I think it was 25. Yeah.
Okay.
But when we were originally doing these forms, we decided that we were going to have an annual credit fee in addition. This on the and here was a way on the left for us to figure out what that amount would be, and it would be based on what their credit limit was. So we may want to strike this for the time being. Um, but over here on the right is, and we broke it.
Oh, that's why we said 25. We just put it all together.
We put it all together, yeah. And we had it broken out here as $20 and $5 because our plan was initially to incorporate as a cooperative, in which case $5 of that fee would be what you would call your share capital fee, which represents your ownership in the cooperative. But we can edit this form if we want, just to put, $25 for now, and we can change it later if we want. I do like this structure. If we ever decide to go with an annual credit fee, it's kind of loosely based on um, like a credit card, which is kind of familiar to people.
Mhm.
And it's in some way, like the organization, if it becomes active and it may want to think about how it could earn, earn cash and COD in various ways,
Mhm.
um, to either pay people or to cover administrative costs and whatnot. But that's a longer conversation. So we can edit this on the form.
Okay.
So on the right there, that this box here, um, this is just um, this is just to add up what the total fee is. So we can strike that for now.
Mhm.
But down here, this box here is to make sure that we're keeping track of the money. Um, I have here the amount that we received. Here I put received by, whether it was Lori or Miranda or someone, so
Mhm.
we can keep track of it. Um, because eventually, if there are people registering people, they're going to have to get the money to the treasurer. Um, and sometimes you can be like, oh, did I sign up that person or was that you? I can't remember. Did she give me the money or didn't she? Oh, she said she was going to, but oh yeah, she said but then she went down and she found it in her purse. Oh yeah, like you will forget if you don't write it down, guaranteed. So received by and the date. Um, and I strongly encourage that you don't get into the habit of actually filling out the forms and like telling someone that they're registered before you like just do it all at the same time, get the money. It can be really confusing if you have a stack of people who are fully registered and then others who you have to go tracking down. Oh, I didn't get their money from them.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's up to whoever is doing the registration. You guys can figure that out, I'm sure. But it's just something that I noticed myself. Like I would sometimes say, "Oh yeah, we'll sign you up now, and we'll get the forms later, or we'll get the money from you later."
yeah,
And then it's just makes more work for yourself.
that's right.
Um, Here on the bottom, whether you received it in cash, whether it was a check, and if it was a check, you can put the check number there, or whether it was an e-transfer, and you can put the e-transfer number there. And I put here a box to tick to ensure that you've given them a receipt.
Hmm. Right.
And maybe there might be a box that we should have there to indicate that it was given to the treasurer. That's just a
Yeah,
suggestion, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Um, let's make a note here to,
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
I'll highlight these fees here because to say that we can edit that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then here again, I just put the member number. Maybe that's redundant since we have it on the upper right-hand corner. Um, the date. Um, Credit limit set. That's something that needs to be done in the software. You actually need to go in and set the limit. So that's just a box there. I would usually put my name there and the date, Lori Heath, January 20th, whatever, to make sure that I know that I did it. Or you could just tick the box. You guys can decide on that. But email sent, that's like just to say that they were sent a welcome email.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
um, and then bookkeeping entered because I was doing the bookkeeping as well. And I wanted to make sure that I had actually entered it into the Excel file
Mhm.
to ensure that it was recorded. And so that was another thing. But that would be the treasurer who would be doing that. So maybe we want to, maybe that's once it's passed on to the treasurer, maybe that's where that the treasurer enters that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. And then below there's the usual, I acknowledge that I've read the terms and conditions, etc. I consent to the broader network collecting my data as attached in the privacy policy, and I authorize them to send emails to the addresses above and name, signed, address, date. Uh, so, and I don't know if maybe this could be streamlined a bit, and maybe, pardon me, what's the name of the woman who was with us?
Ellie? Ellie?
Kelly,
Ellie?
Ellie and
Carrie.
Carrie, she has some knowledge of, legalities and forms and stuff. Um, this might be a bit redundant because we have the other address above. So like, do we need to put it in again? It
Right.
felt a bit cumbersome when we were doing it because I had them signing this, but also signing the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to ask her whether or not we could streamline it a bit.
Okay.
Like, can we just say, I've read the terms and conditions,
Yeah.
should we put the date in here? Or,
Or yeah.
um, maybe they don't need to sign the terms and conditions and this, and maybe they don't need to put their address on this as well, since it's already above. So I'd like to ask her opinion on that, whether we could streamline this slightly.
Can you just type that in, like a
Yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah. So,
terms and conditions and this together.
And maybe we could just have a separate meeting. There could just be a short meeting just to address this specifically. Also, she had some suggestions for the terms and conditions.
Yeah,
So I'm glad she has that kind of
yeah,
expertise.
yeah,
I'll make note here. Note also to review terms and conditions
yeah.
with Carrie. And I'm going to put here, I'm going to highlight this. Whoops, undo. Oh, I can't see the bar because the Zoom thing is in the way. Hold on. Anyway, I can save it at what? I need to undo this. Oh, okay, click OK. There we go. So there we go. Highlight that and say,
It's Kerri.
okay.
Yeah,
Or I'll just put treasurer fills this out.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's the next step is just for us to have a quick meeting with Carrie, just to ask her what she thinks we should put in the terms and conditions, and then to ask her about this on the bottom,
Yeah.
and then just to edit this form.
Okay. Terms and
Um, what contact information will we use? Will we use the Lotus Center?
yeah, just use mine because I'm
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll use the Let's Barter Network email address that you had set up for the
That's right.
contact. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's that, and then I just want to check the terms and conditions form. In fact, I think we can. Yeah. So here's the terms and conditions, and if I remember correctly, we had people like directly signing this form on the bottom. Let me just see. Yeah, and again, putting their name and address, signed and date. It felt a bit cumbersome doing all that signing, so maybe like we don't, maybe we don't need this here.
Well, then you'd say the
Yeah.
registration form and terms and conditions are all one form stapled
Yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna make note here, note, ask Carrie this. All right. And even maybe we can put the privacy policy in
And there as
for
well.
that for as well.
Yeah, all of it together.
Yeah. And the one about taxes, I mean, that's kind of in there anyway, because there is a whole section there that explains that, you're not responsible for taxes, but it is a clearer, they don't need to sign that form. The what about taxes, it's an additional form
Okay.
it better clarifies, what Revenue Canada's position is on this kind of activity and what their obligations are and stuff like that. But that's not something they need to sign. Yeah.
But we should have it there
Yeah.
available so they read it.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So can I suggest that our next step is that to have a quick meeting with Carrie just
Very. Mm-hmm.
to ask her those questions?
Yeah.
And that
Yes.
wouldn't need to be a long meeting, and so I could do that, I could do that soon, like,
Okay.
and
I'll
uh,
just yeah, give me some times.
let's say, let me look at my calendar.
I'll just pause this.
Think.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so we were just talking about having a is it are you seeing my calendar right now?
no, no, I'm
Okay,
only
good.
seeing yeah.
Yeah. Um we
To
at one
register
point did
people online.
we at one point did create an online registration form when we were looking at WordPress. I'm not 100% sure how to do that in the current setup that we have. I think Ellie said that she had some experience with website development and stuff like that, did she not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'd love it if she was able to maybe look at that side of things. Maybe I could let me just think. It's so easy to set up like on Wix or on WordPress or something like that, but I mean, um there must be a way to do it. And I mean, we should probably distinguish between an application form and a registration form. Like if an application form is like, "Hey, I heard about this. I'm interested,"
yeah.
sending off your information. But the registration form is like when you're actually signed up.
Right.
And is there a way to distinguish between that? And maybe Carrie might have some thoughts on that.
Okay. All right.
But that was the way I was doing it. The people who are sort of taking over these tasks might have a better way of doing it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the main thing I'm trying to get through is that there's certain tasks that need to be done, and you just need to have some way of ensuring that you have a paper trail for the tasks that you completed and the money.
Um, and so who does the actual putting the information in? Like, say, if we all did it on paper, do we give the
Yeah.
paper to you, or can we find a
Not to
way?
me, no, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
I'm we're
So
gonna have
then,
to, yeah.
obviously, if we're gonna punch it in,
Yeah.
then
So this
why
just
not do it directly online?
sure, but someone's still going to need to be a secretary,
Yeah.
take on a role of a secretary to make sure that whatever you decide, whether they're on a Google Drive,
Okay.
and if there are passwords involved, or
Right.
or if they're on their personal computer because it contains people's personal information,
Yeah.
um, and how they're stored and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that the group is going to have to decide, whoever the administrators are.
Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll just take the information you gave us here, and then we'll find an online version of doing what you.
Yeah, so whether it can happen like in Cyclos, there must be a way to do that in Cyclos.
Okay, so then I would need someone to study the system
Yeah.
in Cyclos
So
to figure out how to do that.
I mean, I'll have a quick look, but the other okay, so that brings us to, I guess, another thing about the website itself. Remember, I was having a few challenges with trying to get it to format properly, and I don't know if it might involve just I've created a draft, which is fine for now, but it definitely needs, fixing up, and we were talking about getting some AI graphics and all that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
um um but or whether we eventually have a WordPress as our front page, that was also an option that we discussed at one point, but I think we're just going to stick with this for now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe I can introduce Carrie to like the design components. Am I able to do that? Let me look at that. Okay, so that's something I will do is That's step two. One is Carrie. Two, Lori, look at website. And I'm looking at it specifically for design just to see if what's involved with me because we have certain permissions for allocated to people who are just like people who are registering people,
Yeah,
but they don't have access to the accounts, but maybe I can have permissions for designers. Maybe the design permission. Sorry, I'm talking out loud. I'm a bit rambly
that's
here.
fine. Yeah.
Permission for Ellie and specifically how to do a registration for. And then group decision, it has to be about like having a secretary and storage of forms, data, etc. And in terms of availability for follow-up with Carrie, I have an eye exam tomorrow afternoon. I have dentist the next day. I could be available Friday. I could be available.
Yeah. She's going to be doing the EI until the 26th.
Oh, right, right, right. Well, early next week, probably.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a long meeting, so
Yeah.
let me just like sometime next week it will be fine. Like I have to do a described video, but and that hasn't been scheduled yet, so I'll have to work around that. But if it's a short meeting, then I'm sure we can find any day next week is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll ask Carrie. So
yeah,
possibly 27th or 28th. I'll ask. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So you have a few things to do.
yeah,
And we're going to meet with Carrie. And maybe what I'll do is I'll meet with Ellie whenever I can. We'll go over this and see if we can
sure. Yeah,
figure out a few things.
okay.
Yeah, what would be nice, just if you can just familiarize us with the website. So if you could put the Cyclos website up and just
Yeah,
show us how to, you know, where the people would be members and all that.
yeah. So, did we not do this last week?
Let's
But
just do a refresher
we'll
for
do
the
it
end of
again,
the
sure. Yeah,
video.
okay. So here we are. Get this bar out of the way. Okay. So I will share screen. So here's the home page, and I would log in.
Yeah.
And you will have a member login, like to log into your member account,
Yeah. So you're
an
an admin.
admin login. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you log in with your member account, you'll have like a number that will start with an M, M1234 or whatever it is. And your password. Um, but here it's A for admin, Lori H. So submit. So you go to the top bar here, users. Actually, just give me a moment because every time I do come back to this, I have to refresh my memory. My contacts. Do you want to pause just for 1 second?
Sure.
Right. So let's do this again from the beginning. So we're in the home section. You go to users, and here you'll see a new button. So you click there and click members. And here you would enter their name, Jane Doe. You would assign them an account number, and that would be, you know, sequentially whoever the last person was that was registered. Um, you give them the next number available with an M in the front, and it's a 4-digit number, so it's like M 1234 or whatever it is. And if there's a zero, if it's say for example, member number 4 would be 0004.
Right.
So like we'll just leave that in there. You put in their email. Send an activation email. That should automatically send them
Okay.
one from that we have stored in the system
Yeah.
that says, "Welcome to the Barter Network. Here's, how to sign in." It should assign them a temporary password, actually, and I'm going to make note here also. Lori, double check activation email. Should say, yeah, welcome to the Barter Network. Your member number is this. Your temporary password is this. When you sign in, you will be prompted to create your own password, et cetera, et cetera. If you have any trouble, here's the contact information, blah, blah, blah.
Where's the email? Oh, there it is, the email. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so you tick that box and then the email will be sent. And
Right.
we can review that together, actually. I'll just review it myself, but maybe at our next
Yeah.
meeting, we
Okay.
can actually look at that together.
Yeah.
Um, Mobile number, landline, address, click on the button, and then you fill out your address. This was something I um, need to change. It says region or state. I wanted to have province in there,
Yeah.
but he can change that. Country, address visibility. You can either click if you want it hidden for other users or
Mm,
visible for other users.
right.
But something needs to be visible. There has to be a way to contact them. So whether
Yeah.
it's, usually the phone and email are visible to
y-
everyone.
Right.
Here is where you add an image,
Of the person?
and you can do this yourself as an admin,
Yeah.
or they can do it themselves later. I strongly encourage doing it as soon as possible
Yeah.
because people forget.
Yeah.
And basically, you just go in and find a photo from your folder, and it will upload.
Right.
And then login password. You can assign a password here, and there are requirements like there usually are.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create one. You could say, "Look, I've set your temporary password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation mark, whatever."
Yeah.
And you can tell them, and then tell them to change it when they
Change it.
log in.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's so that this was important because I needed to see how we did it online.
yeah.
So
And then
next,
here,
mhm.
at the bottom, enforce user to change the password.
Yes, right. Hmm.
So they'll get a prompt then when they log in.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that's
and
getting them
then
registered online, which is good.
yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. And then once they've done that, um, you can once they've done that, then they'll have a profile, right? So you can go then directly to their profile. I'll just
Right.
go to mine for now.
Yeah. And then they can start setting up a store
Yeah, store ads, whatever.
ads.
Um, so again, if you want to find a user, you can go to this same place, but instead of clicking new, you would put either a keyword up here or their member number.
Okay.
So I'll put like
Do you have a store? Oh yeah, you did something.
uh I put in a fake ad.
Okay. Oh,
So
there.
here are
Oh,
all the lorries. Here's me. So here, once you go in to find a member, there's all kinds of things that you can do. So first of all, like we can edit my profile, right?
mm-hmm.
Uh, it gives my account number, my
Right.
name, my email, and here there are tabs for where the information is stored. So the address is here,
Right.
phone, and images.
So how did you upload your information?
So here, well, I registered myself and you like we did
Yeah.
previously. But you can see here that I haven't uploaded a photo, so I can show
So
you how to
it
do.
would be the same way that we are going to upload assign a new member. The how your information got in the same way that we would send in a
Yes,
member.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's how it was initially
Yeah.
um entered. But once I'm in there and I have a member number, then I'm searchable and you can go in and you can edit it later or
Right.
add a photo later.
Yeah.
You can, this is also where you would set the credit limit.
Okay,
So I'll
let's do
show you
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we go back, yes, and this is an important step, and this is where um so let's see. First of all, user, let's just, I'm going to go through this. Let's just see which are the important ones. References, payment feedback, add to contacts, send a message from system, ads, web shop. So we can review those.
Hmm.
Web shop
Web shot
settings,
settings.
purchases, sales, interest, favorites.
Hmm. Balance limits. Payment.
Balance limits, we'll look at that now. Payment limits, payment requests, payment system to user. Yeah, these are like so the administration can go in and make payments themselves from these accounts if you
Okay.
have access to the accounts. But as you guys won't have all of these features appear
Oh.
here
Oh,
because
I see.
yeah. So
Okay.
we'll have like three types of
Admin.
administrators,
Yeah.
and each of us will have certain permissions. So for the people who are just doing registrations, they won't have access to the accounts. But someone with the higher access can actually, the person might call them and say, I'm in Timbuktu, but I need to pay for that pottery that I got, can you make the payment for me? So you can go in
I
and
see.
make the payment themselves yourself.
So my question then would be
Yeah.
let's say the level of my admin, can
Yeah.
I fill in all the information from a member?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
all I need
As a
to
registration. Yeah. Yeah.
to register.
Yeah. User managed passwords. You can reset a password here.
Mm.
Privacy settings, profile history, child access. So, a lot of these things, or block or remove or disable, a lot of these
That's
things,
your ability.
yeah.
Can I open up mine and
Oh,
let's
sure.
see. Yeah, okay. So you can just
Okay. But I
un
would need to log in as you.
I
So,
can do it from my side and
yeah.
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 So can you?
Before we do that,
Yeah.
I just want to do that one thing so I don't forget is just showing how you set a balance
Yes.
limit.
Yes.
So I just clicked on balance limit and we put we set mine at 434 because that's where mine was, where it left off.
Okay.
Um I was at negative 434 when we stopped trading back in the old days. So
Yeah.
we set my negative balance limit. So I would have in order to I wouldn't be able to go any further into the negative
Right.
because we established that everyone would start off with a 250, and that's what we'll be doing with all the old members. Because back in those times we had a $1,000 credit limit for everyone, so there'll be some people who were in the negative up to different amounts.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so for those people we will just say, if you're welcome to start, but you need to
Sell
bring it up
something.
first before you go into
Yeah.
the negative. But here you could change it, right? So you could
I see. You can change it. Yeah.
negative balance limit. Yeah, so you would uh personalized and um but we could also set a default so that everyone would I'm not we would stick with personalized because I think if we click default, I'm not 100% yet sure how to do that, but like we could set default as 250, so that's what would automatically appear.
Yeah.
And I think then, but my question about that is whether that would change the ones that have been personalized. So let's stick with you doing it personalized until we know better.
Okay.
Personalized and go in and specifically set it to 250.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have an option down the road of setting a positive balance limit, meaning that you can only have a certain amount in the positive.
Yeah.
And usually the function that that serves is to ensure that money isn't being hoarded
Hoarded.
in accounts and that it's not circulating.
Yeah. It
And
needs to circulate.
it doesn't mean you're taking money away from them, but it can mean if you go over a certain limit that you might make that available to people in the form of loans, and you would have to have a whole process. So that's
Mm.
complicated, and we're not
Yeah.
doing that now. So it's only the negative balance that we need to worry about.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm curious now whether or not, and I'm curious actually what level I set your permission at,
Yeah.
actually,
I just
because
want to know
I'm,
if I can actually register everybody,
yeah, okay, so I'm going to log out.
and you can unshare.
Okay. Out and I will unshare. So yeah, so that covered the basics. And I will unshare. Stop share. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna log in again because I can see what level I set your admin at. So
That's right. And so I'm just going to go into admin.
yeah, okay.
And so you're saying I go to users
Yeah.
and
I'm gonna look at yours first. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and
so let's say I do new.
new.
So I'd create a new member.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's all the info that you
Yeah.
said. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that would
And
be all
assign
there. Okay. So we
password.
got all that. I can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And what was how did we get to the,
Yeah. So now just search for me, for example. So go to users. Yeah, you can discard that. And just put Lori. Whatever.
okay. I do
Yeah.
have
Yeah. So you,
all
and
set.
let me just double check because I may have set you at my level.
Oh, oh,
But Ellie wouldn't be. So let
okay.
me
Yeah.
just double check. Um, So I'm going to log in again, sign in, users, and I'm going to look for, right. So I have, the levels are system administrator. So that's just Nick. He's
Yep.
a system administrator. Then there's member accounting admin. So that would be me, and I'm not sure if I've assigned you as that. And then member registration admin would be Ellie and whoever else. But let me
Okay.
just see who I have. No, I didn't want to set a new. I wanted to search for. Do you want to pause there for a second? Because I'm
Yep.
figuring this out. Groups. Okay. So I'm gonna
Good. I can go
sh
again.
yeah, sure. Well, yeah, no, because let's just us figure this part out. Um, but I will share my screen just so you can see what I'm doing.
Okay. I'll unshare.
Um, okay. So I went to users, and so this time I'm searching, and the way to search for you click the button here, but you need to enter a keyword, and then there's groups down here.
Oh yeah.
So if I click on that, I only have inactive members and members clicked. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm looking for admin. So
Oh, okay.
um, member account. I might be a system administrator too. Let's see. Oh, yes, you are. So
Oh,
Nick,
okay.
you and me and Nick are system administrators.
Oh, okay. So let's.
And
So what's the next
um,
level?
yeah, but that's the highest level. And then accounting admin search.
Hmm. Okay.
Let me
So
see.
that
Accounting
means,
admin. I should be accounting admin.
yeah,
Why am I not accounting admin?
put yourself in there. You can do that,
Okay.
can't you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make a note here, double check admin. Actually, I had that on a previous note. That's something I need to double check is to double check admin permissions. But Neek and I went through and set all the permissions for different levels.
Okay.
Admin. So double check admin. So that's registration admin, search. Right, because I had set Kristen
Oh,
previously as
okay.
a
Yeah. So,
registration.
Kristen, I can ask and see if she would like to
Yeah,
continue.
sure.
She would
Yeah,
be good.
yeah. Um,
So
okay, I
that's
made note to double check that. Um,
so
but
what can she do? Let's look at
right.
her thing
Oh yeah, okay. So
because that's the one, right? That's registration.
yeah,
That would be Ellie.
yeah.
What can she do?
So let me see. The way to figure that out would be
User management.
actually, you know what? I will wait the best way to do that. I know what I'll do. I will go to users. I will create a new admin,
A
a regist
registration.
a registration admin, and I'll just put a test name here, and we can change that to Ellie's name or whoever.
Yeah.
So I'll just put reg admin
Okay.
account number. Why would they have an account number? Because they need to have.
Well, that's isn't that your password?
I don't know why we need to sign an account number because you don't trade from your registration. You don't trade from an admin account. That's just a admin login that gives you permission to do things. This is confusing to me.
So is account the same as login?
That's a question that I have.
Okay. I
Um,
bet it is. I bet you'd have to do A or something like that. A for admin and then the person's name.
oh, right. Yes,
So
your
I have
account
A
number
Miranda,
becomes a,
Lori Heath. Yeah,
yeah, what did I have, Reg? So a reg, um,
admin.
admin. A Lori H was mine, so it would be A Reg A. I guess we can come up with a better way
Yeah,
of doing it.
something like
But
that.
you're right, you're right. That's it. So save and it's not a number, it's just a login.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you save and you we can open the profile then. Account number is invalid. Okay. This might be something that because Nick probably has it formatted uh, as numbers
Well,
and
what
yeah.
is your yeah, what is it a number or a name? Is it
Well, you and I have like a have a letter. So I let me check this.
yeah, let me just check. Is it numbers or letters for add?
Definitely for logging in, you and I both have A Lori H and A Miranda
Okay.
S,
Okay.
right? And so
Yeah, I have A Miranda S.
yeah. But let me just for to test. What if I could put like A for admin, like admin one, admin 0001, for example. Let me just try that. But if we have to go that route, it'd probably be me, you, and then let's call this A003. Yeah, okay. I need to check with Nick on that, I think.
Yeah, because if we don't have this, I can't even make her
Yep,
an
yep.
admin. So
So,
that's necessary even now.
yep. So, Nick, how do we
How do we create a new admin member for
set
registration?
admin account number? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad we went through this because
That's a big, can't go
yeah,
anywhere without it.
yeah. Account number is invalid, which is strange that I can still log in as A Lori H if the account number is invalid. Because if it's invalid, how can I log in as A Lori H? Yeah.
Hey,
Okay, that's
now
something that
hold on. How about this? Maybe the name is A Miranda S and the password is the account number.
I doubt that, but if you want to try it, um,
So, under the name, you put A
right.
Reg, A Reg, and then make up an account number. And mine is like the Lotus Center or something as a password.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with a password. Like when I log out,
So, how do people get in? Like, how did that get set up for us?
yeah, I need to check with Nick on that. So look, when I sign in, okay, user and password.
Okay.
User and password. Okay, user.
User and so user is yeah. So is that the
User.
name?
Okay. Yeah, I'm unclear about this. I need to ask him.
Yeah. How do you? make a new member,
Okay.
admin member.
So, okay, that's tops of my thing to do.
Yeah, because we can't go anywhere without it.
Yep. Okay, well, I'll email him and when I just
Okay.
let me just let me I'll email him right now.
Yeah.
Um banking